My guest today is going to help you avoid a scaldy sambo, navigate your morning fry, and give you a few tips for phrases so you don't make a clanger as you chat with the lads at the evening sesh. No idea what I'm talking about? You don't want to miss today's podcast. I'm digging into the archives this week to bring back a great conversation that you may have missed. But before we jump into that, I want to introduce you to one of my terrific Ireland travel partners. If you're looking for a unique taste of County Kerry, I want to make sure that you know about my friend Neil, who owns Kingdom Whiskey Tasting Events. Neil, share a little bit about what people can expect if they have a tasting with you.
Kingdom Whiskey Tasting Events here in Kerry offers private tasting experiences for small groups and large groups, and using 100% local Kerry spirits. So we work with local distilleries, local bottlers and bonders, and give you the full overview of Kerry's spirit landscape. Our experiences are designed for novices, connoisseurs alike, and we offer them all across the country. So no matter where you stay, indeed in Dingle, Killarney, Tralee, Kenmare, or literally any place, we can bring your personal whiskey or gin tasting experience right to your doorstep. You can learn more by visiting our website. There you can see all the details about the different tasting experiences, and the website is www.kingdomwhiskey.com.
Or you can use the link irelandfamilyvacations.com/KWTE. Hey everyone, welcome again to the Traveling in Ireland podcast. Now, when you do visit Ireland, you're likely to hear quite a few words that you recognize, but they're going to be used differently, and it's always just a fun experience to hear these words and to hear these conversations. So for a few very American examples, a biscuit is actually a cookie. It's not a fluffy baked good that you would have at breakfast. Chips are fries, and crisps are chips. The boot is the trunk of your vehicle, and crack, well, that's news, gossip, and a really good time, but it is not an illicit substance. There are a few more Irishisms, though, that may leave you baffled, and my guest today is going to help you avoid those kind of weird circumstances that might come up when you hear them. So Denise Deegan has written a charming wee book of Irishisms. They're words that almost seem to elevate the Irish above the English language. So Denise, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
Thanks so much for having me, Jody. It's great to be here.
Now, when I started looking at your book, the first thing I noticed is that the book is actually written under the name of Amy Alexander. And that is your pen name because you are actually a very well-known novelist.
Yeah, so Amy Alexander is my pen name. It is a combination of my children's names. So I have a daughter called Amy and a son called Alex. So it's Amy Alexander. But I should hasten to say that it is Amy with the French spelling, Aimee, because there is an Amy Alexander who writes vampire, lesbian, erotica, just so we don't go down that route.
We are not talking about that today.
No.
But this little book of Irishisms is a very different direction from what you usually write. So what kind of brought this about? What inspired you to write it?
So I was actually in the States. I was in New York for a conference. It was a writing conference, and I was staying with a friend of mine who's American, and we get on great. And so, you know, the way when you're with a friend, you kind of don't feel that you need to speak in any particular way, that you just get each other and you can say what you want. So I said to Molly, who's American, I said, "Here, give me that yolk." And she just looked at me. And there's this moment, this blank moment. And it suddenly occurred to me, to an American, give me that yolk is give me, the yolk of an egg. And I'm like, oh my God. So I had to explain to her that in Ireland, it just means thing. And we use it all the time because we're too lazy to think of the word. So we'd say something like, oh, here, give me that yolk. So it occurred to me that this was really interesting. And I started to take note of all the different Irishisms myself, just for my own entertainment. And they just built and built and built. And I just thought, this is hilarious. I'd love to share it. And then I guess because I am a writer and a novelist, I'm used to putting my work out there and my thoughts. So I was putting together this book. And so because I'm a novelist, I'm in touch with a lot of my readers. They sign up to my mailing list through the website and we communicate. And it's lovely. But when I told them this was in the offing, they got in touch to say, oh, you need to include Irish names. So the way we have such weird names here, and when they're reading Irish novels, as they do a lot, they love Irish novels. They don't know how to pronounce these names, and they keep coming up again and again. So they say, put that in. So I did. I put in how to pronounce them, but also what they mean. So even for me, it was really educational. So it was lovely. So that's how the book came about. And then my daughter Amy did the illustrations, little funny cartoons. So I love it. It's so special to me for that reason. Like she's been drawing little quirky characters ever since she was tiny. So yeah.
That is so fun. Now the chapters in this they're short and sweet. And pardon me, and it is just a wee little book. So it's perfect for, if you have somebody who really is kind of, likes the whole feel of Irish and kind of maybe even to feel like they're getting one up on their friends. It's a perfect stocking stuffer, right?
Oh yeah, like it's a great little gift. Well, even it's a gift for yourself, because if you've Irish in you and you love that aspect to you, it's fantastic, because people have been getting in touch with me just to say things like, say for instance, one person got in touch to say they bought it for their mum, and their mum then remembered when she lived in Leitrim, and she'd emigrated, and so she was just reminded of her childhood, and then other people reminded of people they love. But actually it's also really funny. So a reader got in touch with via Facebook, and with photographs. She's Irish, she lives in Vancouver. She went to the pub, she was showing it to her friends. Literally the book went around the whole pub because we were having such a good time laughing. So it's a great gift, like whether for Christmas, or if you were going to Ireland on a trip, it'd be great to bring, because like there are things that people think we say and we never say.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on those because you have a chapter called Avoid These Like the Plague, which I
Yeah,
love.
I
Because
think that, yeah, go on.
no, I was just gonna say I personally I love the fact that it separates the patty and the patty and the whole St. Patrick's Day thing, because I know for me that's one of those touchy things, especially at St. Patrick's Day in the US, and you just see these, this pub is celebrating St. Patty's Day and you're just like, no, you're not. That's why you have green beer. Anyway, I loved that chapter.
Yeah, so things like and they're a dead giveaway if you use them. If you come to Ireland and you want to sort of sound Irish or fit in, they're the very last words that you should use. So for example, Bagara. Nobody says Bagara. Nobody says top of the morning to you. Nobody ever. There's another one called May the Road Rise With You, which is an interesting one because we never say it in English, but if we were speaking in the Irish language, we would say Gunari on Boher Lot, that's what it is, but it means good luck. So it's lovely. And that's another thing. We call the Irish language Irish. We don't call it Gaelic. So that's another thing to watch out for. What else? And era, we never call Ireland era. It's just Ireland. And there was a time when the English used to insist on calling Ireland era, even though we specifically said no, we're Ireland. So it's a tiny touchy subject a little bit. So, but in the Irish language, it is era. So,
They're just things that you want to keep in mind, obviously. Another chapter I really enjoyed was tricks to make your sentences more Irish. We visit Ireland often, and every time we return from Ireland, my girls use the word fierce just for weeks and weeks and weeks, just because it is so prevalent. So just little words that you wouldn't think would make a sentence. I don't know, it's almost more powerful or more pointed. if you will.
Yeah, I mean fierce. Yeah, we use fierce a lot. So like instead of very, so he's a fierce Egypt would be very common. And, you know, that he's a real Egypt, and Egypt would be idiot, and we use that a lot too. But yeah, it's really interesting because somebody asked me. Oh, I was terrified. Somebody asked me when I was in America, would I go and talk to a school? It was a drama school about teach the people how to speak with an Irish accent. Now, I think it's probably one of the most difficult accents to get right. It's very hard. But when I was putting together this tricks to sound Irish, it's really interesting because it really makes you sound a lot more Irish. So, for instance, one of the things we do a lot is we use verbs ongoing in the past tense. So we would actually say, I'm going to go. Like, we don't just say I'm going, it's I'm going to go. Or what else? I'm after doing something, is I've done something. It's terrible grammar, but that, I mean, if you want to sound Irish, you know, those are the kind of things we do. Like, what would you be wanting? Do you know what I mean? That's like, nobody speaks English like that except for us. The other things we do are, you know, I am, so I am. You know, we just repeat ourselves. Or remember we were saying fierce. You could even make something even stronger by saying he's a fierce Egypt altogether. That's another one.
Altogether is,
yeah,
that's one of those words that's used a lot.
yeah, yeah. And he's only gorgeous is like he's gorgeous. Like he's really, really, you know, putting only in. There's another one we do. And then there's the really common ones, like instead of you, plural, like you guys, we'd say ye, ye. Or instead of it is, we might say tis. So that's a handy chapter if you want to try and speak Irish,
It's a
even just for
really
Paddy's
fun
Day.
chapter.
If you weren't coming over here and you just wanted to speak Irish, you know, sound Irish. The other thing I think is it's kind of, you could have fun with is, let's say you brought it along, let's say you were going to Thanksgiving to an Irish family, you brought it along, you could actually do sort of like a fun quiz. You know, because you could, how Irish are you? Oh yeah, you think you're so Irish. Well, let's find out. You know, it could be good fun, good crack. We call crack fun, and you know, you mentioned that as well. And I think as well, our words say an awful lot about the people that we are. So one word that we use all the time is crack, and it means fun, or it could be news. So you could say, sometimes instead of saying hello to somebody, we'd say, what's the crack? You know, that's what's the news. So we're really curious about what's going on in other people's lives. That's very Irish. And also we're just so into just having fun, you know, just innocent fun, a laugh. That's very Irish.
Exactly. And you know, I think the thing that I really enjoyed about this book is that it's easily digestible. Um, but all the bits are useful, especially like you said, if you are traveling to Ireland, it gives you a good insight as to what you're going to hear when you're out and about. Because when you're speaking one-on-one with somebody and they know you're a tourist, they tend to kind of lose that ease of speaking, I guess. They have a tendency to speak a bit more slowly and clearly if they know you're a tourist. So when you're out and about in the pub or at a festival or something, you're more likely to hear these kind of things because people are just out having fun and they're kind of in their natural element. And it makes it a little easier to understand what's going on around you.
And there are some really colorful words that I love. Like I literally love them. I didn't just like collect them to make a book. I love these words. So for instance, we have ones that have kind of come from the Irish language. So for example, bockety. You wouldn't hear that anywhere else. And bockety just means wobbly. So like if you had a table, you know, you get in a restaurant, the table's a bit wobbly. That would be perfect use of bockety. And it comes from the Irish word bockach, which is lame. So you find out all those little interesting, colorful bits about the language. Like I love that you have these words that they're not Irish, they're not English, they're halfway in between. But then we also do this thing where we drop Irish words into our language. Like I could say, oh, I'm just going to my labba. That's completely normal. That's not me trying to be like really Irishy. That's just like, I'm going to bed. I'm going to my labba. Or that's a lovely guna. That's a lovely dress. We'd say that all the time. And all those kind of things. And I love that as well because I suppose our language, And I'm so delighted that we've kind of, even though when I was young and went to school and had to learn Irish, you have to still learn Irish in school, which is, I think, wonderful, because we've held on to our language and it's our culture and it's our identity. And it was trying, the English did try to force it out, and so they didn't succeed. So I love it. So I love that when we're speaking English, it's not really English, it's our English.
And, and that is one of those things that just makes Ireland kind of that little bit more magical. It's the little bits, because one of the things that makes Ireland so terrific for a first international visit, especially from the US, is because you do speak English. But it's an English all its own, and it's an English with a bit more. It elevates it in a way that is just, it just makes it a little more fun and a little more magical. It just adds to that whole shimmery magic of Ireland, if you will.
Oh, thank you. I agree.
So we've kind of talked about who this book is for and some really fun ways to utilize it. It's a great, like we said, it's a great gift idea because it is just a wee, pretty cute little book. Are you ready to embark on an unforgettable journey through the enchanting landscapes and vibrant culture of Ireland? You can get expert tips for your Ireland vacation with my free guide, Ireland Vacation Planning Tips for First-Time Visitors. These insights will help you craft an itinerary that enhances your experience without overwhelming you. And by signing up, you'll receive weekly advice and exclusive offers straight to your inbox. To get this, you can visit IrelandFamilyVacations.com/first visit. That's all one word, FIRSTVISIT. So, but not only would it be great for like a gift or for giving, like you said, it would be great to just pack in your bag for your trip to Ireland, a little light reading on the plane, and just fun. It's just good for fun. So where can people get more information about you, about your other books, and of course to pick this one up?
Oh, great. Thank you. So I have two websites, just to confuse everyone. I have the Denise Deegan one, but I also have the Amy Alexander one. I think the Amy Alexander one is a tiny little bit more interesting because I have little small videos on that. So, and it explains the journey behind, Little Book of Origins, but also the various novels that I have. And so Denise Deegan is denisedeegan.com and Amy Alexander is amyalexander.com, and that's AIMEE. And then I'd be on Twitter as Denise Deegan and Facebook as Denise Deegan. So anybody can come say hi. And the books they'd be on Amazon, they'd be in Barnes and Noble online and Book Depository.
But basically anywhere you can buy a book, you're going to find them. And I will, of course, have links in the show notes. So if you're listening to this, all you have to do is click through the show notes and you can find links to all of Amy's websites. You can get links to her on Facebook, so you can buy the book and reach out to her from a bar and tell her how great the craic is, and just really enjoy it. So Amy, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I think this is such a fun little book, and just such a nice little taste of Ireland.
Thanks so much, Jody. Yeah, no, I love it, and I love the illustrations in it because they just mean an awful lot to me because it was, my daughter. But yeah,
they are just cute, and I'll have a picture if y'all want to see it. There will be a picture of the book on the show notes, so you can take a look at it. It is just it's perfect. I mean, like I said, it's a quick read. The chapters are super short, and you can just open it to a page and be like, okay, I'm going to use this word today, which I think is really fun.
That's actually a great way of using it. I love the cover. The designer I have always used, and she's based in the UK. And I was wondering why she was really loving this project, because I sent her the book first. Designers don't always read the whole book, but because this is, quite dippy and outy, as you have said, I discovered that she has Irish roots, and she loved reading it, and she loved the it reminded her of her granny, but also she came up with all these little speech bubbles on the front of the cover, and the words to put in. So that was really special because it made our connection much stronger. I had never known that aspect to her, so it was lovely.
That is so fun. Well, Denise, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today and to tell us about this book. It's just, I think it's just lovely and so much fun.
Well, thank you, Jody.
This was such a fun chat for me to do, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Don't forget that if you did enjoy the podcast, you can leave a 5-star review at Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you can't leave a review on your podcast app, you can visit Trustpilot at IrelandFamilyVacations.com/trust and just say something nice. I would really appreciate it. If you have questions or comments on this episode, you can email me, Jody, Jody, at IrelandFamilyVacations.com. As always, thank you so much for listening, and until next time, slán go fóill.